Okay, so in the last lecture we have seen the brief introduction about the superconductivity. Okay, so what we have learned about superconductivity? So superconductors are nothing but the materials for which the resistance of those material becomes zero. Okay, and when this particular thing happens, when the materials are cooled to a temperature which is called as a critical temperature, or transition temperature. So whenever the materials are cooled to a temperature which is called as a critical temperature or transition temperature, the resistance of materials becomes zero. Okay, it is equal to zero, right? And such a materials are called as a superconductors. We know we have also seen the origin of the resistance, how the resistance is coming over the material. So whenever we consider any piece of conductor, okay, or insulator or anything, it consists of lattice ions, positively charged lattice ions. They are distributed throughout the lattice. Okay, and these lattice ions are always in a state of motion. They will be vibrating, they will be rotating, and vibrating, and because of that there will be the exchange of energy, and this exchange of energy takes place in the form of quanta, and these quanta are called as a phonon. These quantas are called as a phonon. So whenever there is a piece of metal, there will be lots of phonons which are traveling throughout the material, and if under the action of electric field, the electrons are moving in one particular direction, then these electrons will be scattered. These electrons will be scattered by the phonons, and there will be the generation of the resistance. Okay, so every conductor will have some kind of resistance, right? And it will possess some kind of resistivity also. And we have also seen the resistivity of any material, the resistivity of particular metal is equal to rho 0 plus rho of T. So resistivity will be in general function of temperature. So if you increase the temperature, the number of phonons generated by the lattice will be increasing, and therefore the resistivity will be increasing. Okay, and if you bring down the temperature towards absolute zero, then this particular factor will be zero, because if the temperature of the material is decreased, then number of phonons generated because of the temperature will be decreasing, and since there will be less number of phonons in the lattice, there will be the less number of scattering by the phonons with the electrons. Okay, and since the scattering will be less, the resistance will also be very less. We have also seen that even if we keep the temperature at absolute zero, so if we keep the value of this T is equal to 0 Kelvin, then also this particular bracket will be 0. It means that resistance due to the scattering process will be 0, but there will be some inherent resistivity of the material, and this resistivity is called as residual resistivity. Okay, and why this residual resistivity is there? Because every material will have some impurities, and the electrons moving through the material will be scattered by impurities ions also. So because of this scattering process by the impurity atoms or ions, there will be some residual resistivity. So there is actually no way to make the resistance of a material equal to zero, but actually there exist some materials which has this remarkable property that at sufficiently low temperature of the order of suppose 4.2 Kelvin for the mercury, at sufficiently low temperature of the order of 4.2 Kelvin, the resistance of the material completely vanishes. So when this happens, such a materials are called as a superconductors. Okay, and what is the advantage of superconductor? So suppose that there is a coil of superconducting wire. And if this particular wire act as a superconductor, then if we pass small amount of current through this wire, then that particular current will be traveling through the wire for infinite time, ideally for infinite time, because there is nothing to oppose this particular flow of current. Therefore this current will continuously flowing through this particular wire, and because of that we can generate a large amount of magnetic field also. Okay, so what we have learned, that a material will act as a superconductor when the temperature is less than the critical temperature. the material will act as a superconductor. For example, suppose this is a superconductor, okay, then this particular material will act as a superconductor when T is less than Tc, that the temperature of that particular material must be less than the critical temperature or the transition temperature. Okay, we have also seen the Meissner effect in the last lecture. Okay, what is the meaning of Meissner effect? That if there is a normal conductor, for example, okay, normal conductor, what we mean by that temperature is greater than Tc, temperature is greater than the critical temperature. So whenever the temperature of any material is greater than the critical temperature for that particular material, the material will act as a normal conductor. The material will act as a normal conductor. It will not behave as a superconductor. So if there is a normal conductor and if we apply the magnetic field, if we apply the external magnetic field, then what you will see? You will see that that particular material allows the flow of magnetic field from inside. That particular material allows the flow of magnetic field from the inside. Okay, so it will allow the magnetic field to penetrate through this particular material, right? So this is the property of normal conductor. But if our material is a superconductor, it means that if the temperature is below the critical temperature and if we apply any external magnetic field, then that particular superconducting material will not allow external magnetic field to pass through it. It will not allow external magnetic field to pass through it. And we have seen that the material which does not allow external magnetic field to pass through it, to pass through inside it, such a materials are called as diamagnetic. Such a materials are called as a diamagnetic materials. So superconducting materials are essentially a diamagnetic materials. Okay, right. Also, we have also seen that whenever we have a superconductor, okay, whenever we have a superconductor and if we are passing current through this superconductor in a closed loop, then what will happen? Because of the flow of current, there will be the generation of magnetic field. There will be the creation of magnetic field, and suppose that magnetic field is denoted by H. Suppose that magnetic field is denoted by H, then it is to be remembered that not all magnetic field will favor the superconducting state. Not all magnetic field will favor the superconducting state. Means what? This superconductor can bear only certain minimum value of applied magnetic field. Only certain minimum value of applied magnetic field. If you apply, or if the magnetic field is generated whose value is much larger than some specific value, then also the superconducting state will not be there. Superconductors will be transformed into normal conductors. Okay, so what is the special property of superconductor? Superconductivity will exist only when the temperature is less than the critical temperature. Also, the magnetic field should be less than the critical magnetic field. The magnetic field which is created by that superconductor, that magnetic field should be less than critical magnetic field. Okay, that magnetic field should be less than critical magnetic field. Or alternatively, what we can say, only that amount of current can be sent through the superconductor, so that this flow of current should create the magnetic field. This flow of current should create the magnetic field whose value is less than the critical magnetic field. Okay, so what is the outcome? That only certain temperatures are allowed. We have to maintain the temperatures which are less than the critical temperature, and we have to maintain the magnetic field which is less than the critical magnetic field. Okay, now depending on the behavior of this critical magnetic field, or depending on the response of the superconductor to this critical magnetic field, there exist two types of superconductors. And these two types are type 1 superconductors and type 2 superconductors. So today we have to see these type 1 and type 2 superconductors. So let us see first of all type 1 superconductors. So type 1 superconductors are normal superconductors. Okay, the superconductors which were invented first, those superconductors are nothing but the type 1 superconductors. The example is mercury. Okay, so what is the speciality of this type 1 superconductor? So suppose that we can understand the speciality of this type 1 superconductor with the help of graph. Okay, suppose these are x and y axis. Now on the y axis, suppose I represent the internal magnetic field. I am representing the internal magnetic field of a material. I am representing the internal magnetic field of a material on y axis, and on the x axis what I will represent the applied magnetic field, the applied external magnetic field or applied magnetic field. Okay, now suppose our material is a superconductor. Then what will be the value of internal magnetic field? If a material is a superconductor, then that particular material will not allow any magnetic field inside it, right? So internal magnetic field must be 0. So for a superconductor, the internal magnetic field must be 0. Okay, so this will be the 0 value of this internal magnetic field. Okay, and again, what should be the value of applied magnetic field? If our material is a superconductor, then the value of applied magnetic field must be less than that of the critical magnetic field. Okay, so this particular value must be represented by BC. Sometimes I will represent it by HC. Okay, in some of the textbook H letter is used, and in some of the textbook B letter is used. So no matter what we are using at this particular unit, for this particular unit, you must remember that BI is the internal magnetic field, this is the applied magnetic field, and this is the critical magnetic field. Okay, this is the critical magnetic field. So if this is the critical magnetic field, then at this particular value, means below this value of this critical magnetic field, our material will behave as a superconductor. Below this critical value of this critical magnetic field, our material will behave as a superconductor, and above this value, our material will behave as a normal conductor, right? So what about the internal magnetic field? If our material is superconductor, then the internal magnetic field will be 0, and if our material is a normal conductor, then there will be some internal magnetic field. Okay, so the graph will be like this. Okay, so you see, up to this value, see, this particular line indicates that this is the boundary of critical magnetic field. Means below this value, the value of magnetic field is value of applied magnetic field is less than the critical magnetic field, and beyond this particular point, the value of applied magnetic field is greater than the critical magnetic field. So you see that here the material is normal conductor. The material is normal conductor, because from this point onwards, you see this is a straight line only, because the internal magnetic field sharply goes down when there is a superconducting state. Okay, this is a straight line, right? Nearly straight line. So up to this position, you see, up to this position, our material is a normal conductor. Our material is normal conductor, and when the material is normal conductor, there will be some internal magnetic field through the material. Material will allow the magnetic field to pass through it, and the applied magnetic field will again, at least it should be the critical magnetic field or more than the critical magnetic field. Okay, so this is the value of applied magnetic field, and this is the value of internal magnetic field. But if the material is in superconducting state, it means that the applied magnetic field has a value which is less than the critical magnetic field. Then you see below this particular thing, the value of BI, value of internal magnetic field, is exactly equal to 0. So such a particular thing means the superconductor for which this type of nature is there, or the superconductor which for which what we can say that the value of critical magnetic field is a sharp point. There exists only one value of critical magnetic field. Okay, and the value of internal magnetic field is nearly 0, is exactly 0 actually. Then such a superconductors are called as a type 1 superconductors. Such a superconductors are called as a type 1 superconductors. So for type 1 superconductor, there exists only one value of critical magnetic field. Okay, below the critical magnetic field, material is superconducting, and above the value above the critical magnetic field or at the critical magnetic field, the material will be normal conducting. Okay, now what about type 2 superconductors? So actually there exists some materials for which there exists some material for which there exists some materials for which the value of critical magnetic field exists in the form of range. There is no single value of critical magnetic field, rather it possesses two values of critical magnetic field, and between these two values of critical magnetic field the internal magnetic field will be there inside the superconductor. Still the material will act as a superconductor. So such a materials will be called, or such a superconductors will be called as a type 2 superconductors, okay, or high temperature superconductors, right? So you see there are some superconductors. Again, on the y-axis there is an internal magnetic field, on the x-axis there is an external magnetic field, and what I am saying that for such a type of superconductors there is no only single value of critical magnetic field, rather it consists of the range of the value of critical magnetic field. So see, suppose this is one of the point, this is I am representing with the letter BC1, okay. So this is 1, and again there is another another value of critical magnetic field BC2, okay, and above this material will act as a normal conductor. Now you see below BC1 the material is perfectly superconductor. The value of internal magnetic field is exactly 0. Now as you increase the value of magnetic field beyond BC1, applied magnetic field beyond BC1, what should happen? Actually it should not allow it should allow the internal magnetic field then, okay, and again the material should be behaving like a normal conductor, but this will not be true for such a materials, okay. Even if I am increasing the value of critical magnetic field from BC1, it remains in a superconducting state up to this particular value BC2, okay. So within this particular range of critical magnetic field, even if there is a value of internal magnetic field inside the superconductor, still also it is not destroying the superconducting state. So such a materials or such a superconductors for which there exists two values of critical magnetic fields, such a superconductors are called as a type 2 superconductors. And you see beyond the value of this critical magnetic field 2, value 2, the material will behave as a normal conductor. So material will behave as a superconductor between this BC1 and BC2, and again below this BC1. But this is our point of interest, because this value of critical magnetic field 2, this BC2 value is very high value, and sometimes its value is of the order of 24.5 Tesla. Now it is a huge magnetic field. And such a materials or such a superconductors are called as a type 2 superconductors. Such a superconductors actually they are made not with the help of metals. Some certain ceramic materials are there with which we can develop such a type of superconductors, for which the value of critical magnetic field, means the value of second critical magnetic field, is of the order of 24.5 Tesla. Now why this is important? Okay, you see, if a superconductor is of type 2 type, then what will happen? It can bear this particular magnetic field. Now if our superconducting material is bearing large amount of magnetic field, what is the meaning of that? So meaning of this is that we can send large amount of current. We can send the current, okay, we can send a huge current, so that this much magnetic field can be created. And even if we can create this much magnetic field, the material will act as a superconductor. Okay, so we can have the property of superconducting state also, and we can have the advantage of creating huge amount of magnetic field also. Okay, whenever I am saying that a particular superconductor can bear this much magnetic field, the alternate meaning of this is that we can send a huge amount of current through this particular superconductor, and we can create such a huge magnetic field. So that is the alternate meaning of this. Now where this particular such a type of huge magnetic field is used, so if you see the device which is known as MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, most of the medical fields, okay, if you go to the very big hospital, okay, rich hospital, then you will have this particular device. Okay, now this particular device is used to image the organs of the human body, you know that. Okay, and this particular device works on the principle of superconductors, means in this particular device there is a superconductor, okay, made with the help of ceramic materials. Okay, the name is given in the notes, right? So this particular device uses the superconductor, and in this superconductor, what is the advantage? That if you send small amount of current, or if you send current for a small time, it will be running through this particular circuit for infinite time. Okay, so you send the current, okay, so that you need to generate this much magnetic field. Actually you require this much magnetic field in the superconductor, in that MRI. Okay, so in order to generate this much magnetic field, you can send sufficient amount of current so that this much magnetic field can be generated, and because of that magnetic field you can have the proper functioning of MRI. Okay, so MRI uses this particular superconducting state. Okay, and again you will be surprised to know that if you use the conventional methods to generate the magnetic field, if you use the conventional method to generate the magnetic field, what is the maximum magnetic field we can generate with the help of conventional method? So that is of the order of 1 Tesla. That is of the order of only 1 Tesla. So in order to generate the magnetic field which is more than that of 1 Tesla, you need to have a superconductors only. Okay, only with the help of superconductors you can generate this much amount of huge magnetic field. Okay, so these are the advantages of type 2 superconductors. Okay, so this is about type 1 and type 2 superconductors.